Let's get the cakes on. Let's get a nice little flash. There we go.
Okay. So this story is about when I was living in King's Cross in about 1978. And I was very young. I was about 18. And I was living in Macleay Street down the hill and across the road from HMAS Cuttable. And I was working in a club called the Freezer on Oxford Street.
Oh yeah?
And my companion at work, we had shifts that went from 11 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the morning. And
yeah.
He was a nudist, gay guy who used to come to work and regale me with stories of guys that he'd picked up at Lady Jane Beach.
That's the nude beach, right?
Yeah. And we used to snort cocaine from the time we got to work to the time we finished work together, and we were completely off our heads. Anyway, so one night I got home from work, and I always went home from work via the Mansell room.
Yeah, in Springfield Avenue.
In Springfield Avenue, and so it was always peak hour when I was going home.
Yeah.
So I was always swimming against the current down William Street, and I just went to bed. It was a kind of ordinary day. I slept through the day, but in the middle of the afternoon I got a phone call on a landline. There were no mobiles in those days, from a guy that I went to university with. And he wanted to know if he could come for a cup of tea. And I said, no, I'm sleeping. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And he was somebody that I had met at university and was kind of working with the Australian Ballet Company at that time.
He was, or you were?
He was.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what he was doing, but he was always walking around with a heart on. And I think...
Yeah, it sounds like a ballet dancer to me.
So I think he thought he could come and visit me and kind of somehow work through the issues that he had. And because I refused him, he went to the back of the building and came up the fire escape and started smashing in the back door. And I was really frightened. I realised that he had lost it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I called the cops, and when the police came, they came up the front stairs, and I was standing at the top of the stairs waiting for them, but he'd smashed in the back door at the moment that they arrived and walked over to them and said, everything's okay, don't worry, she's crazy. Right. So I momentarily lost control of the situation, and they said, oh well, we're really sorry, have a nice night, afternoon. And then I said, no, actually I don't want him to be in here. And there was there was a story that went with that, but I really didn't feel safe with him around. And so when they realised that they were being duped, one of the young constables started punching on in the foyer of my flat, and it dragged him into the living room, and the female police officer took me into the kitchen, and we sat there and listened to this silent fight. There were no vocalisations. It was just these two people going
like grunting and
yeah, and eventually they arrested him because he beat up a policeman.
He beat him up?
Because he assaulted a police officer.
Oh yeah. It's one of those victimless crimes.
Yeah. It was,
hey, so where was the flat? It was near HMAS Cuttable.
Across the road.
So it's
still there.
In Wild Street, sort of.
In Wild Street.
It's not that big curved building, is it?
Yes, it's a big, beautiful white curved building.
Oh, I know the one. Now, what's that called?
Has
it got a name?
Yes, it does. It starts with I.
Are they all like studio apartments in there, or one bedded?
No, this was a 2-bedroom place, very elegant, with 2 dressing rooms attached to the bedrooms, and quite a spacious place. And the reason I got the lease there was because I had been to Fort Street High School, and the guy that owned the flat, who was then in his 70s...
Forbes Street High School?
Fort Street.
Fort Street.
which was a selective high school in Sydney, and he'd been to the same school, and it was the old school tie thing when he said, "Oh, what school?" Because I'd just come out of school.
Yeah.
And so,
Living in the Cross.
Yeah.
In the 70s, did you say?
1977, 78.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what, you were 17, 18?
Yeah. And it was wild.
So Mansell Room, where were the other cool places?
Well,
In 1978? For an 18-year-old girl, like,
the Mansell
living the
Room,
life.
there was a bar around the corner from the Mansell Room. You could not get in unless they recognised you through the spy hole in the door. So there was a spy hole in the door, and unless you came and knocked on the door and they looked and they recognised you or the person you were with, you couldn't get in. What was the name of that place?
Was that in, like, Earl Place or something?
It was in... Oh, John, you've got me...
It doesn't matter.
No, I could give you all this information because I lived here for years, and I lived on the top floor of a block of flats overlooking Clapton Place where Double J was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it had a view of the harbour, and I think I was paying about $20 a week rent.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
Not anymore, baby.
No, and then I moved down to Macleay Street and went up market. Yeah. Not anymore. No.
Cool. Did you ever go to Benny's in Charles Avenue?
That's the place I'm thinking of, Benny's.
What about Arthur's? Did you ever go there?
I played at Arthur's.
Played what?
I was playing in a band in those days.
What instrument?
Well, I'm a keyboard player and I used to sing, and I still sing.
Yeah. What was the band?
The Living Daylights was the name of
Oh, fuck, I've heard of it.
Fat Time was
Yeah.
another band. The Champions was another band.
So tell me about a night at Arthur's whenever you were playing there.
Oh, I was pretty coked off my head. I don't remember much.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Nobody remembers Arthur's except for the name.
That's right. It was just a vibe, really.
Cool.
We were all off our heads.
So where else did you play around the Cross, if anywhere?
The Mansell Room.
Mansell, Arthur's, anywhere else?
Did we play? I don't
Springfield? No, not Springfield.
Springfield's
What about that one in
Mansell
Bayswater Road?
that was after the Mansell Room.
Yeah, what was that called?
It was called Cardoma Club.
That's it?
Yeah.
Did you play there?
No, it was after a whole era of my life.
Okay.
And yeah, there'd been a murder at the Mansell Room.
That
kind of rained on everybody's parade.
Yeah, they tend to do that.
So I ended up, moving to the Gold Coast. But anyway, that was a long time ago.
Oh, cool. Cheers, thanks for that.
That's okay.